Hi everybody!
Welcome to our living room.
Yes, our newly completed living room.
We're sitting in this corner of the living room because right behind us is one of our GFRC concrete bench tops, and of course to the side is our GFRC concrete fireplace. So today we thought we'd do a quick 5 things to think about when you're going to do a GFRC project.
So the first thing we're going to cover off today is just going to check whether or not that this is actually something you want to use. There are lots of different types of bench tops that can go on top of joinery, stone, concrete, timber, laminate, chipboard. The list goes on and on. Having concrete gives you quite an earthed, sort of grounded feeling to a home. It's quite heavy, it's quite bold, it's quite cold as well. So in terms of how the concrete forms the design of your home, it's really important to think about, is it the right material for you before you start really getting into looking into doing a DIY project like this.
One thing to think about if it's the right thing for your house is the colours. You can get pigments for your GFRC concrete in quite a broad range. So behind us is black and to the right is actually just a non-pigmented concrete. So we kept it natural for the fireplace. But you can get a broad range of colours to fit any of your designs.
So this colour in itself, they sell this product typically in 2 bags, either just a standard grey concrete or a pure white. Which is so much better than to tinting as opposed to the grey. Gives you those nice dark bold colours if that's what you're after, or if you want to try and keep it nice and light, you want to go a bit more beigey, oatmeal, obviously pure white's quite popular too. You can get a really nice, beautiful white smooth finish on the pure white bags.
And just before we move on to the second point, we recommend trialing a little patch of the concrete with the pigment before you go into it, because they can turn out quite different to what you might think. So we did a few before we started and we ended up going in a completely different direction with the fireplace than we first thought because of our test patches. So 100% test it out before you dive in.
Worthwhile.
Definitely.
So working with this product can be a little bit tricky, and it's definitely a labour intensive project. It is concrete, it's heavy, it's dusty, you've got lots of elements that have got to go through it, you've got to mix it, you've got to pour it, you've got to build things for it. It's quite a process to get through it, but with our step-by-step sort of guides that we've done, it sort of takes a lot of the thinking work out of it, and you guys can sort of really get a good grip on how to actually go about the steps to making these bench tops. But definitely keep in mind that it is concrete and it is quite a hardy material, so it's going to be pretty hard to work with, and it's definitely going to be a little bit more of your elbow grease work when you're mixing, because you're mixing this really heavy sort of cake mix together almost, so definitely be prepared for a bit of work.
You know, it's quite a lengthy process from beginning to end. It's worth it, it's worthwhile, but it's physical. There's a lot of math involved in building your frames. There's a bit involved, so just get prepared for it. But I think if you kind of know what you're jumping into, you'll be all right.
Exactly right. Number 3, planning your shapes. Now, you definitely want to give yourself some tolerance here. You never want to make anything tight, because this thing, you can't just shave a little bit off the side of it. It is a solid product. If it's too big and it doesn't fit, that's just bad luck. You might be able to cut it, it's not going to look very nice. So when planning your shapes, whether it be an island bench with a sink cut out in the middle of it, your laundry, a nice long laundry bench, or these nice small ones here in between, or really going into things that are really complex curved shapes, you really want to take your time in measuring out your spaces and making sure your form work is really, really suitable for the job, with your tolerances, just so that when you are finished with it, you're going to get the perfect sized piece.
But this is like maybe the best thing about GFRC concrete is that it's completely custom and you can choose whatever shape you want to do. It's such a draw card for GFRC, because if you look at our fireplace with this like inverted curve that we have going around it and a really strong mantelpiece at the top, we were able to, you know, think about exactly what we wanted in the space, and it gives you the room to be as creative as you want in your house. Like, it is the most creative material, in my opinion. You can do whatever you want with it. It's like your imagination is your only like thing that will stop you. It's very cool.
It is just a fully custom piece when you're doing it yourself, so you can make really, really niche spaces fit perfectly, like it's almost come out of a showroom, with a really simple product. All right, so number 4, getting on to, once you finish these pieces, you want to get them really sealed up nicely. Now, we've definitely had a few trials and errors, more so errors with sealing these things, because they like to sort of boast a bit of a penetrating sealer that repels water, moisture, staining and things like that. We first sort of delved into a water-based solvent that definitely said that it was a penetrating sealer, but what we found was that in the matte finish, when you left like a cup of tea or something like that, or a tiny little spill, it actually did absorb the moisture. And that sealant may over time prevent staining from happening or getting worse over time, but it definitely didn't repel water. And you know, for us and in a common area, drinks and even in your kitchens, you're going to want it to repel. So in the end, we ended up finding a epoxy-based sealer, which definitely boasted really heavy-duty penetrating sealer. It was a little bit smelly to work with. That's just your oil-based products, but it's left a beautiful film on top, which just repels absolutely everything. If you wipe it down, the water just beads off it, which is exactly what we're after.
Yeah, we can link that for you so you don't have to go hunting for it. I think for us, like, we didn't want that wet look necessarily. We wanted that matte look so it felt as organic as possible. But because these are in fairly high traffic areas, people do put their drinks, their wines, their food on top of them. Of course, the mantle will get decorated at Christmas. We've got candles up there. We just wanted to make sure, and especially for the hearth of the fireplace, we get charcoals on there and dust. So we wanted to make sure that these pieces that we put so much work into were going to last the test of time. And we have been so far really impressed with how easily this concrete cleans up when you just wipe it down. So we'll tag that. And the way that we applied it was with a roller where it was flat, just to give it that really smooth finish. And just a little, really light sand in between the coats will help keep it really smooth.
Exactly right. And lastly, number 5, and debatably probably one of the biggest driving factors I think for this style of benchtop, is the financial aspect of this material. It is so damn cheap. If you're comparing it to things like a stone block slab, a Caesar stone, things, even custom made concrete by a contractor, you're saving just literally thousands of dollars by doing this yourself. Bags of this concrete cost $50 to $80 each, and these bench tops behind us, I think was 1.5 bags. So you're looking at realistically with the formwork, the setup costs, and the materials, you're around the $500-600 mark for just a standard piece. And then once you go on from there, you've got your startup tools and everything ready to go.
I think once you kind of are happy to put in the labor, the finances will pay off, especially because they're custom pieces. You can't just buy them off the shelf, and once you get into custom, everything is a lot more expensive.
Yes, exactly right.
So when you're working with the glass fiber reinforced concrete, you can go really, really thin, which is like a bonus that not everyone knows about. So the glass fibers mean that you can get to
70 MPa. Which is sort of boasting almost 2.5 times the standard size, which is around your 25, 28 MPa. It's a massive strength increase, which is great. You can pour it, as Samantha said, at much thinner sort of slab sizes, up to 19 mil even, which is pretty amazing. You know, we like to stick to the 30 mil just to keep it standard, but it's nice to have that comparatively against, you know, your larger style concrete with the stone in it. It's got the aggregate, and you even have to put steel in some of those, whereas this is just these tiny light glass fibers that double the strength and provide a much smoother finish straight off your formwork. Which in some instances you don't actually even have to polish this. It's that smooth when you pull it out.
That's right. So I think from a design perspective, you know, you don't have to always think about concrete bench tops as these kind of thick, chunky, grey slabs anymore. You can build them into designs in such a beautiful way and range of colours that they can kind of fit most designs if that's what you're after. These days, actually in one of our videos, I had a few comments of people saying, "You didn't put the steel in it!"
You don't need it!
So it seems like not a lot of people are like super aware of this product, but I think it's a really exciting product to use, and it's really fun to try it out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to play around with. If you like doing a little bit of concrete work, or you just like to learn something a little bit new, it's a really, really fun product. It's pretty much like structural Play-Doh, really. Like, that's pretty much how we did this fireplace. You know, we adapted the mix a little bit to sort of form a different shape, and the results were just incredible.
So if you have any further questions about GFRC, feel free to throw them below. We might do some more very specific videos if everyone is interested in that. And we'll also link to where we get our GFRC cement in Australia, because it's not as easy to get than other countries, I think.
Yeah, it's much harder though. So there's only really few people who import this product across from America, because it's huge there and it's non-existent here almost. So
so we can link to that so you know where to get it.
exactly right. And make sure you check out our full-end guide as well on how to do it. We've really gone right through step by step of how to do each and every single process from start to completion. So definitely go ahead and have a look at our website and check that out.
Alrighty, thanks for watching. See you
See ya.
later. Bye.